This is Breakfast in Bets.
Had a little breakfast.
What's up, GMGP? Happy Sunday, everybody. It is September the 24th, 2023, September 24th, 2023. Y'all decided to wake up and tap in for some Breakfast in Bets. Myself, along with my man, Mitch Carl at DFS and Donuts on Twitter. Appreciate y'all being in the building. We'll be here for about 45 minutes today on this stream, talking through some plays this Sunday's NFL action. So if you have anything, holler at us in the chat. But let's get it popping right now. Let me bring my dog Mitch in. Mitch, how you doing this morning, baby?
What up, my friends? NFL Week 3 is upon us. We are ready for it. Everybody's been kind of chomping at the bit after Thursday Night Football. All the chalk hit. It was a great night. Ray and I, we went 4-0 on our YouTube official picks. So I know a lot of people out there have a handful of slips that are 3 of 3, waiting on the final 3 for this Sunday. I know some people took our picks, put them on the sports books, cleaned house. It was a great time. Let's hope today we can run it back for you. Let's get you paid.
Absolutely, man. So if y'all are here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, like the content. Comment in the comment section what you think about these plays. But we got a lot to get to. There's a lot of good action this week in the NFL. A lot of players not playing, a lot of injury designations and things of that nature. Maybe some opportunity for some value, Mitch. So you ready to just pull this thing up and get going, baby?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
I want to bring one up just to start off the top. So earlier this week, I had posted this pick inside Discord for our Dubclub, and it was on Tyreek Hill and his receptions prop. Unfortunately, they have already bumped him up on Prize Picks. They moved him up to around 7-0, and, of course, that comes off the back of no Waddle this week. Yep. So, of course, people are going to start slamming the over. However, one thing they did not change as of like a half hour before the show was his receiving targets. And as I'm bringing it up now, it actually got bumped. So we had posted a couple of slips inside Discord. Yous had posted one. J-Step posted one. I posted one. Tyreek Hill over 9.5 receiving targets. And as I bring it up live to talk about it, it was bumped, Ray, of course. So It's at 10.0 for anybody out there who is looking to play any Tyreek Hill type of player prop on sportsbooks or sites. Make sure you're just looking for the best value. I wouldn't even care so much about what these lines are at today. 83, 88 yards, whatever it might be at this present moment. We're looking for the ceiling play. And I think Tyreek Hill always has that for you. So taking him for a touchdown prop, think minus 110. Taking over 6.5 receptions, or if it's been bumped to 7.5, if you're getting it at plus 120, plus 125, I think you have tremendous upside of taking Tyreek Hill props. As far as Prize Picks, it looks like potentially off the board as far as what I would be willing to take for a parlay. So I'm going to kick it over to you as I scramble for one of my
the Tyreek Hill play stinks, man. It was up this morning. I saw it at 9.5 receiving targets. I love the receiving target market, Mitch. It's one of those things where we're not so much as focused on the result, which are the actual yards, the receptions. It's the process, the guy being the number one target earner on that team. And there's no doubt the splits with Tyreek Hill without Jalen Waddle, they're crazy. So I know it doesn't seem like half a target matters, but that hitting that 10 opposed to having to get to 11, it's kind of tough. So that one stinks. If you were able to lock that one in, I think that was a solid play, Mitch. But what I'm looking at is a market that I've really, really enjoyed of late, and it's the passing, rushing, receiving combo touchdowns. So I want to look to the Baltimore Ravens versus the Indianapolis Colts. They've got Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews combo, plus pass touchdown, rush touchdown, and receiving combo. So let's pull that up. I'm really digging this play right now, Mitch. This is one where they just need to score one touchdown between the two of those guys, either on the ground or Andrews catching one. This is a positive correlation sort of bet as well with Lamar Jackson at the helm. So I'm really digging this one, Mitch. For me, this is going to be one that I try to load up into a couple of slips today. Lamar and Andrews over a touchdown, rushing or receiving.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of stay in the same vein here. I've got one for you. Now, I'm curious to see what Prize Picks does to us here, because I know they've been kind of finicky with what kind of touchdown markets they've been allowing you to put together. I'm going to go over to the pass rush receiving touchdown. I'm not entirely sure why this one isn't inside just the passing touchdowns, but I'm happy about it. So I'm going to focus down here. I'm scrolling down to the bottom, and I got Justin Herbert, 2.5 passing touchdowns. Currently, the books right now are juicing over 1.5 touchdowns. Did not see it at 2.5 as of 30 minutes prior to our video. So if you're saying that if the books are saying there's a high implied probability, 66, 67%, that he's going to have 2 touchdown passes, why in the world is this at 2.5? This should be at 2.0 if they're going based on the Vegas odds. I don't know why it's there. Do I think he has upside for 3 today? Absolutely. I think this could potentially be a shootout, but I'm just playing the math here and where the markets are and taking under 2.5 on Justin Herbert.
Under 2.5 on Herbert. I just want to know, because I see a lot of people in the chat saying, "Congrats, Joe." What happened? I don't see the tweet. Wake up, fam. These are my people here. So let me know what are we congratulating my girl Joe for? But so you're saying under 2.5 for under 2.5 passing touchdowns for Justin Herbert, right? Right, Mitch?
Yeah, that's going to be my play here to start us off. Got you.
I want to look at another skill position player prop that is still sitting at 2.5, and it's been at 2.5 quite a while. I actually took this play as just a single bet over on Fliff. Hell, this had to have been 3 days ago, but they still have Jaylen Warren, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. His reception number is still sitting at 2.5 for Jaylen Warren right now, and I'm seeing across most books, you're getting average odds at about -125 pricing. It's still over on Prize Picks at 2.5. We talked about game script with Najee Harris having to open up the offense, getting the ball out of Kenny Pickett's hands quickly. So it's still sitting there at 2.5 receptions for Jaylen Warren. Steelers tonight versus the Raiders. I like this play. Don't know if I'm going to make it a core one, but I just wanted to call that out because I know a lot of people are talking about Jaylen Warren. So I really do like the 2.5 that's still sitting out there on Prize Picks.
Yeah, did you see JRich send out an alert maybe about 10 minutes ago? He sent it right before the show. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I wasn't sure if you had. Looked like the headline was basically that Warren was going to get worked into the offense a bit more tonight.
I did not see that headline, but I mean, it's only, Mitch, honestly, just watching the game, it's only a matter of time. And this number's been sitting at 2.5, Mitch, for some days now. So I'm surprised the number and the pricing has moved on Fliff, but I'm surprised it hasn't been bumped on Prize Picks. Don't want it to be, so I like Jaylen Warren over 2.5 receptions today.
I'm going to slide back to the touchdown market. This one's going to be for a guy I'm going to go to often this season. It's going to be Travis Kelce at home. Nice home spread, too. You're getting a nice, I believe, 11-point spread today. I can't remember what it was. When you get an offense at home, and listen, Travis Kelce is one of those guys that it just doesn't matter. You don't have to care about too much about this stuff. But I'm gonna give you some knowledge here that you can use in the future. 2 positions that matter that a team is at home and favored: running back and tight end. When the running back and tight end are at home and favored, that usually is an offense that's going to score some touchdowns. Who scores the most touchdowns inside the red zone? It's those 2 positions. The most in the NFL, that is purely just a mathematical based percentage. Those 2 positions score the most touchdowns inside the 5-yard line in the NFL. So if you've got a team like KC who has a nice implied team total today, they're favored at home. There's a large spread. They're going to be scoring some points. Well, Travis Kelce is going to be one of those guys I'm going to try to target to take advantage of those Vegas factors. On top of that, Kelce right now, if you're looking at certain books, I mean, I found him on DK this morning. Anytime touchdown was -180, Ray. You don't find that on Prize Picks. So I'm slamming that in there. This is going to get bumped. It's going to get moved. I'm not entirely sure how it has stayed there all week. I think I have him included in like 3 of my 4 or 5 slips I've posted for Discord, and I'm going to keep taking it while he's there.
I like that, Mitch. And let me ask you, with Kelce, you like the touchdown number a little more than the receptions or the yards for Travis Kelce, sort of, if they're going to continue to give us this half a touchdown. You like this a little more than the yards and the receptions with a player like this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, listen, I've got a guy here who I don't have to worry about him playing a full game if they're going to protect his knee, right? And we're talking fourth quarter, maybe they're up 21 points or something. They start to sit the guys for the final few possessions. I don't have to worry about him getting that 8th reception, 7th reception, 75th yard, whatever it might be that given week. Just give me this guy that if this team has done well enough to have the lead in the 4th, he's probably played some type of factor. And what factor is he going to play the most efficiently? And that's going to be the scoring one. So I'm going to take Travis Kelce, guy coming off the back of a 12-touchdown season, scored in his first week back for the Kansas City Chiefs. I expect him to do it again today.
Well, let's take a look at the chat. Let's take a look at the chat and see what some people want to pull up. Anthony says, and congrats to my girl Joe real quick. Congrats to my girl, Joe. She got engaged. She has been supporting the show. Hell, Mitch, I don't know, a couple of years now. Joe, how long you been here? It's been a while. But congratulations to you, Joe. That's phenomenal. Mitch, she got me flustered, man. Got engaged. I don't even know what to say. Congrats to you. But Sam Laporta reception. Anthony's asking about Sam Laporta's reception. So can we just pull up Laporta and engage with this one for the people?
Oh, for sure, man. This is still at 3.5, which is a really nice number.
Let me go look at some stuff. What is that? The Detroit Lions. Pull up the old odds finder. I'm taking a look at those receptions just to see what it's priced at across some other books, Mitch, right now, because I want to give Anthony what we're thinking here. So Sam Laporta.
Slide it up on screen too here. So receptions. I will highlight Laporta for us.
There we go. There we go.
Juiced odds on Pinnacle and DK. Minus 152 to the over. Minus 140 to the over. Best odds you can find are FanDuel minus 113. Underdog parlay play. Already bumped it. So last chance probably here to get it on Prize Picks at 3.5.
At 3.5. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at another reception prop, and it's not on the books, but let's go to a receiving target prop, and we've got one right here. Michael Thomas's targets, Mitch. MT's targets.
Oh yeah.
What do we got with old Michael Thomas? Let's take a look at that. I love that target market. I love it.
Oh no, they bumped them.
Oh, 7.5. 7. What was it? 6.5?
Yeah, they had him at 6.5 an hour ago. It was a steal. I think he's had 8 and 9. Yeah, 8 and 9 the first 2 games. I mean, it's still not a terrible number.
No, it's not a bad number at all, but we don't like to chase, Mitch. We don't like to chase. All right, anything else? What else do we want to highlight here today for the people, man? I'm looking at some numbers right now on Jackson Smith and
Can I ask you one?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question here for you.
Yeah. Holler at me.
A couple years ago, man, I was a big Nico Collins believer coming out of college. I thought this kid was going to be a PPR machine, right?
Yep.
And, sharp, crisp route runner. He's got good hands, and he flashed. He flashed his rookie season a couple times, and he just dealt with injuries, didn't get the shot. Quarterback, in flux. Now he's getting the shot again. He's getting peppered with targets. This week, we have C.J. Stroud. His pass attempts is sitting at 34.5. Through 44 and 46 through the first 2 weeks. I'm not entirely sure why this didn't open at 38.5 or so, because I expect them to keep throwing the football a ton as they're playing from behind. I don't think they're playing, I believe it's in Jacksonville. I don't think they're going into Jacksonville and keeping this game close, in which case you're going to get Stroud throwing the ball a ton today. And if he does that, what is the best way to target Nico Collins for week 3? Because he's up there on the board in multiple ways.
Yeah, and I think this is a good one to kind of talk through what's going on in that game. The Houston Texans are down 3 secondary defenders. Their best secondary defender, Jalen Petrie, got hurt in week 1, so there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. The Jacksonville Jaguars, you can look at them across the books. People are expecting Calvin Ridley to go off, Evan Ingram for a touchdown, Christian Kirk to get his. Trevor Lawrence should be able to move the ball on this team and put up points. And one of the things that we've talked about C.J. Stroud to start the season is Houston is letting him throw the ball. I want to take a look at this market in general. Let me know. Let's look at C.J. Stroud's pass attempts. I want to look at Nico Collins' his reception number and the yards, because this one could just be one where C.J. Stroud's launched it 45-plus times in this game for the third straight game over 40 yards. At a matchup where defense is probably going to be optional, we probably need to look at this market. There could be some nice value inside of here, so you got to pull it up on the odds finder screen right now.
Yeah, so I guess CJ Stroud just went to the name. You guys can all do this along with us if you'd like. MySparty.com, grab that, and you guys can search anything you want. It's open for you right now. 34.5 is the current pass attempt market. You can find the even odds pretty much on both sides of it. And if we're looking for an edge here, honestly, I think you and I kind of both just talked about it. He's going to have to throw the football. Listen, they're not going to go out there and run the ball a ton and keep it close today. At least that's a lower probability than C.J. Stroud slinging it and keeping them close. He's done a decent job. He doesn't have an interception through 100 pass attempts, which is kind of nutty, which is actually really nutty through his first 2 games to throw the ball that much, to drop back that many times and not have a single interception yet.
Man, I'm very much in on C.J. Stroud today. I'm very much in. I think the attack, to answer your initial question about Nico Collins, where are his targets at? 7.5?
So they have his targets at 7.5, even though his receptions down here are sitting at 3.5, juice to the over, 4.5, and then you get a little plus money under here, or plus money over.
I don't want to overthink this one because I do think it's just as simple as volume, opportunity. Do we want to bet on the result or do we want to bet on the process? And
Right.
if I had to lean one way or the other on this one, Mitch, if I truly had to give a lean, it would be towards the targets at 7.5. Prospects doesn't even have his damn receptions up, so I don't know if they're going to move it or if they're trying to consider or trying to figure out do they want to go 3.5, 4.5. But I think 7.5 targets for Nico Collins in a game where Jacksonville should be able to score the ball on Houston, and Houston just wanting to see what they want from their rookie quarterback. I don't mind 7.5 targets for Nico Collins at all.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking that too is because I know you can put together this correlation, which is really slick. And, I just can't game script any scenario here where Dameon Pierce and this Houston offensive line goes out there and keeps it so close that Stroud's pass attempts stay low today. I mean, we're not talking he's hit the over with like 36 and 37 to the first two games. Nah, man, we're talking almost 50 pass attempts in both of the first two games. So I'm having a tough time envisioning a path where Stroud doesn't smash the over. And on top of that, if he does, then Nico Collins doesn't continue to reap the benefits of that.
And can I just, and I know I don't believe it's up right now on Prize Picks for CJ Stroud. Let me see if his completions are up. Let's go, CJ Stroud. Are the completions on the board? 21.5 completions. So let's just talk through this one really quickly, Mitch, because we're both on board with the attempts, and I think we like CJ Stroud in the game script and the correlation through this one. But 21.5 completions, Mitch. This is I like this. And you look at it across books. I'm seeing, Bet Online -111, DraftKings -110, FanDuel -108, Pinnacle -128, what it should be for CJ Stroud's completion. So oh man, these are easy targets. He's an accurate ball placement specialist. 21.5 completions or 34.5 attempts. Where would you feel better at?
Yeah, I actually thought about this one earlier this week, and I like the angle of just having him air it out, and I don't have to worry about him being efficient in his third start on the road in Jacksonville. So I personally went with the over 34.5, but I totally get it. I mean, listen, if the volume's going to be there, he's looked sharp. So the 21.5 does seem low. Now, my only concern is, heaven forbid he does not throw 45 again. Is he going to hit 22 of 36, 22 of 35? I'm not sure.
Got you. All right. I think both are good. If I had to lean, I would lean on the process over the actual result. The process is him throwing the ball and not completing it. So I think 34.5 pass attempts would be where I land at too, Mitch. And I think that is a nice pairing. If he's going to throw the ball 35 times, Nico Collins should be a solid bet for his customary allotted targets as well. So I kind of like that correlated stack play.
I'm actually going to try to enter this one. I wasn't entirely sure if I could because we had two different touchdown markets of Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson. This is going to be a learning moment for me alone. And then if it does enter, I'm going to do us a big favor here for everybody who's tuned in live with us. I'll post a slip down below in the comment section, or Razor will after the show. Yep. And you guys can grab that slip link. And if it sweeps, I'm going to go ahead and just split. What would it be? $60 net profit each way for myself and someone else. So let's see if we can go through here.
Well,
it does.
I'm about to throw this one in too. I've got 4 built out right now. I'm going to throw one more in here. So let's find one more because I want to share this with the people that tap in as well. So right now, I'm building out one. I got Stroud, more than 34.5 pass attempts, Lamar and Andrews to score a rushing or receiving touchdown combo. I've got Nico Collins, more than 7.5 targets. And I also have Jaylen Warren, over 2.5 receptions. I need one more for this one. And then I can lock this five pick slip in for the people. So what else
question
do you have?
for you?
What do we got?
This is an interesting topic for the 6th one too, because Zach Moss, right?
Okay.
I mean, he was literally. I mean, I'm not a big believer in his skill set, his talent level, but opportunity knocks, man. And this dude soaked it all up last week. 4 receptions. What do you have? 22 carries, whatever it was. It was nutty. And I expect nothing less this week. They just cut Deion Jackson as well.
Okay.
So if Zach Moss is in there a ton this week, rushing yard prop set at 52.5. A little scary. Receiving prop set at 14.5. I feel a little bit better about that, especially if they're playing from behind. Minshew's maybe facing some pressure. Is he going to dump it off to Zach Moss again 4 or 5 times like last week? At 14.5 seems like it could be some low-hanging fruit. So what do you think about Zach Moss in general this week? And what do you think of his props for week 3?
I like him this week. I'll tell you that for damn sure. I like him quite a bit. Let me look at what they actually have. What do they actually have on Prize Picks up for him right now? So they've got the yards at 14.5. The receptions at 2.5, Mitch. I'm looking right now. Moss's receptions at 2.5. I'm seeing average odds -134, -140 on Fliff, DraftKings -130, Bovada -133. I'm seeing the reception numbers. Seems like a nice one if you want to enter that into a 5 or 6 pick flex over on Prize Picks. The yards 14.5. Man, yards.
He doesn't have much wiggle, man. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
He's going to catch that ball and get tackled.
That's the scary part, right? But I'm trying to look at what's best from a pricing perspective and not what I think, right? Not what I think. What are sort of the best odds we get for him on the yards? Let's look at that real quick. And somebody asked in the chat what you were looking up. That is the Odds Finders tool. You could see a link for that in the description on my Spari. That is the Odds Finder tool, what Mitch is looking up lines on.
And you're all welcome to all use that right now if you're needing it.
Mitch, I'm just going to be honest with you. If I had to pick one or the other between Zach Moss's receiving receptions or the yards, the receptions look pretty good. The pricing on that really screams there's some value there, especially when it's juiced a little more to the over on some other books at 2.5. But again, I mean, I just don't know. But the numbers say that's a solid play.
I understand
but
it.
You
I
call
understand
it. This is yours. You call this one out. What you like the receptions or you like the yards? I think both are right there, man. They're right there.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. I personally went into this conversation thinking 14.5 for the receiving yards because I posted that in Discord as one of my sports bets. But you're right, man. If we're talking the best value on a fixed price site like Prize Picks, it's this one right here where you're getting these odds. So I think the over 2.5 receptions is the move for a site like Prize Picks. It was not there. I had posted a slip earlier with Zach Moss over 14.5 in my Prize Picks channel as well, but only because this was not there at the time. But if this were there, I would have been all over that.
There you go.
Good read on your end.
There we go. Looking for some more stuff, Mitch. There's some interesting pricing on the board for some of these low totals that, you look at them and you just think, oh man, no way Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to go under 7 receptions. But, you look at the money and it's -148, -140, -135 to the under 6.5 receptions today in a tough matchup versus Atlanta. Don't want to force anything. So let's go to the chat real quick and see what people are talking about while we look up some other things. So let's go over here. Let's see what we got.
I think that game in general could be a really interesting one today, man. That Detroit and Atlanta game, golly, that could be extremely high scoring.
Yeah. So Jay Step said some good value in the tackles and assisted. Saw like 4 I really like. Yeah, I think Cole Holcomb, Jay Step, did you see anything with the linebacker from the Steelers, Holcomb? I was looking at him over 6.5 tackles and assisted tackles earlier. Anthony said, Anthony Holcomb, no, damn. I was talking about Hulk Holcomb. What's his name? Cole Holcomb. And then Anthony Holcomb jumps in the chat. He says, Amon-Ra St. Brown is gimpy as well. He was questionable most of the week. Yeah, and that's why you see the line being juiced to the under. Yeah, it's J-Step said that's a good one. Cole Holcomb is tackles and assisted tackles at 6.5. I was looking at that this morning. Let me see.
What do you think about Gibbs this week? He's got a bunch of opportunity potentially here. And then I was looking at him this morning and his rushing attempt prop was low. On top of that, his touchdown prop was juiced. So I feel like things aren't kind of matching up. Like, does the market just not know what to do with Jahmyr Gibbs? Are they not entirely sure what type of upside he's going to have? I really couldn't figure that one out. This one seemed like a lock and load to me. Looks like either we had trouble pulling some stuff in, or he's just been removed from the board for a few reasons. But, we're looking at receptions, juice to the over 3.5 across the books. The total yards, which I thought was kind of low on Prize Picks at 73. The rushing yards at 46 felt low. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. I just love Jahmyr Gibbs and his game. I earlier this week took the Jahmyr Gibbs to score touchdown on Fliff for minus 120. That was one of the picks I had posted in Discord. This clearly going to crush the closing line value here. And maybe I should just sit on that and enjoy that. But I feel like there's still angles to approach.
Yeah, I mean, I like this game a lot, Mitch. And this is one where Gibbs should see increased volume in this one. It is the headline between the top two picks in the 2020, the top two running backs from this last draft class. This is game 3 for Jahmyr Gibbs. We want to see him get going. We've been excited for him. Like, let's make it happen this week. So I understand the sentiment for feeling like this is a good play, because I feel the same way. Looking at his yards, what do we have for Gibbs' yards? 46.5. Man, why is this number not anywhere? Like, what are they waiting for?
And what about the rush attempts? 11 just seems so low.
At 11?
Like, are they thinking Reynolds is really going to take that much from him?
I have no idea. I would think not. Like, it's Craig Reynolds. And I know he got a touchdown last week, but it's freaking Jahmyr Gibbs right here. So I'm with you on that. 11 feels quite low. Can you look up Bijan's rush attempts just in that same game? What are Bijan's rush attempts sitting at?
All right, give me a second here.
They don't even have them up. They don't have. I guarantee they don't have them up. I'm just going to Prize Picks. You don't have to look it up, Mitch.
So 13.5, and it is juice to the over across all sports books.
All sports books at 13.5.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if that's on Prize Picks here.
It is.
13.5 is there?
It's there right now. 13.5. Locking it. 13.5, Mitch.
He's minus 148, minus 135, minus 139.
Yep.
Good pick.
Mitch, I like it.
Jahmyr Gibbs right now, I have 3 books that pulled PointsBet, 11.5, minus 110 to the over. FanDuel's got him at 10.5, minus 148 to the over. And then Underdog and Prize Picks both moved him to 11. 11 just seems low.
Yeah, it does. You like Gibbs? Put it up. Put it on the board, man. I think it does seem low. Like I'm with you. With no David Montgomery in this matchup, it does feel low. I just want to say I'm letting everybody know right now. Gibbs, Bijan Robinson over 13.5 rush attempts is locked and loaded. It is locked in. I locked that one in. Just putting that out there right now. Like that a lot. The pricing is good. What'd you say?
Let's go with the 2 rookies in this game. Let's go Gibbs for a tutty. Bijan Robinson over 13.5 rush attempts.
All right. Let's do it. Gibbs. And I'm just checking if there are any combo touchdowns for Gibbs, and there are not any. So we got Gibbs for a touchdown. Still? Gibbs for a touchdown. Bijan Robinson. I like it, Mitch. I like it. Right. Let's go here. Let's go to chat. See what everybody is talking about. If there's anything else people want to take a look at. Gibbs TD odds are very low. I don't know if y'all already talked about this, but Dalton Kincaid, over 3 receptions, lock. Let's look at Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid, who's he play for? Buffalo Bills, receptions. All right, Ike, my boy Ike said it's a lock. So let's take a look at the pricing on that Kincaid market. Buffalo versus the Commanders. Commanders are pretty shit versus the tight ends. Over 3.
I mean, you're getting some crazy good odds. Plus 135 on DK. Plus 136 on FanDuel. I'm going to be honest, Ray. I was looking at the snaps. I was looking at the targets. I actually put in a Dawson Knox over 2.5 receptions, -113 this morning. And he's played 53 and 54 snaps through the first 2 weeks. He had 4 and 5 targets, and he had 3 receptions in both the first 2 games. I believe 3 and 4 receptions in the first 2 games. So Dalton Knox, one more thing too, is I believe if you take out the New England Patriots, when you're looking at Knox's last 2 seasons, he's actually hit the over at that number in 14 of 16 games. And that includes the first 2 games here with Dalton Kincaid. He's been running the majority of the snaps.
Yeah, and from a pricing standpoint, yes, I'm with you 100%. So Kincaid might be the it might feel like the lock, and I get it. He can definitely hit that, but I don't think I would touch that and put that into a core slip today, unless it was just one of those good old gut feel slips, which is okay to do, but it's not what the data is telling us, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dawson Knox sitting there on underdog 2.5 receptions is available. Did not see him on Price Picks this morning. I will see if he's popped up recently. There he is. Must have popped up in the last since our stream started. So Knox is available if anybody wanted to detail that pick that I had posted. I think I posted it for DK at -113, but he is available there on Price Picks now.
All right, I'm just looking up a couple of things for Calvin Ridley, Mitch. I'm looking up Ridley because I'm looking at his targets. I'm thinking about this game. We're talking about. Here's my thing, and talk me through this, Mitch. Let's pull us back up on the screen real quick. So we talked about the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud and what he's probably going to have to do from a passing perspective. The attempts, 34.5. The Jacksonville Jaguars could get up early. Why have we not looked at the receiver market for the Jacksonville Jaguars? If we're thinking that C.J. Stroud's going to throw the ball and Nico Collins is going to get his and Dameon Pierce isn't going to be able to run, why have we not looked at Trevor Lawrence or Calvin Ridley or Christian Kirk? I think we need to look. There's a lot of value in this one. Should be a high-scoring game.
I was going to say there's a lot of value in those. You're getting fairly good odds across the board on all the Jacksonville Jaguar players, all the receiving and passing props, including over 1.5 touchdown passes for Trevor Lawrence was very nice this morning. I saw -120, which is a really good play. Personally speaking, I actually am all over Travis Etienne this week. I like him a lot. I think he's going to have one of those pop-off games. This is the week. Houston's rush defense for years has been miserable. And I think Etienne, I think he had him at over 68.5 rushing yards was the early morning prop. Price Picks had him at 69.5. I took the bump, didn't care. I like that yardage prop. And then on the flip side, I think it's going to be a lot of passing from Stroud to Nico. And that's mostly going to be because they're going to be playing from behind. So that's how I've scripted out this game, personally speaking. From your perspective, if they were to go out there and start throwing the football, slinging it around the yard to get that lead, where are you going with that to take advantage of it? Is it going to be the touchdown passes for Trevor Lawrence? Is it going to be the receptions from Calvin Ridley? Where are you looking?
I'm looking at the pass catchers in particular. I'm looking at Ridley's targets at 8.5 targets. I'm also taking a peek at Christian Kirk, who I believe is sitting at 7.5 targets, and he had 14 last week, and we know he didn't do much in week 1, but 7.5 targets for Christian Kirk feels quite low. I'm looking at the pricing on his over receptions today, heavy juice to the over, average odds -149 at 4.5. Prize Picks has his reception total sitting right at a nice round number of 5, which I don't particularly care for. And we're not getting anything on the board as far as receptions for Tank Dell or Nico Collins right now. So let me just look up one more player. Let me just see if Evan Ingram. I know some people were talking on Wednesday about Ingram's touchdowns. Kirk and Ingram for a touchdown. 6.5 targets for Evan Ingram. 40.5 receiving yards. Oh, man. I'm going to look up that one, Mitch. That's what I want to see. I want to look up Ingram's receiving yards, see what the pricing is on that real quick. From this game, Evan Ingram, 40.5.
We have Trevor Lawrence pass attempts, just so this can be baked into your decision-making here. 32.5 across most books, and the lean is to the over. A couple books have him at 33.5. FanDuel at 33.5. PointsBet at 33.5. -110, -114. So, a fairly healthy amount of passing volume as well.
All right, all right. I don't think either of us are sold, but it makes sense. Like it makes sense. I don't feel like you're sold on that one, Mitch. So we don't want to force it. But anything else you want to pull up? So we had Bijan and Gibbs, if those are still even on the board. But anywhere else you want to go? I see JRich. People talking about Tank Bigsby, Zach Moss, Pop versus Houston. ETN should as well. So people like that. Somebody said, what about James Cook over 2.5 receptions? James Cook, Buffalo Bills over 2.5 receptions. Let's see. Let us see. James Cook over 2.5 receptions. James Cook's been balling. On the ground this year.
Yeah, it was nice to see him pop off last week.
All
there
right.
it is. How the target's looking this year? Let me take a peek at that.
For James Cook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that target volume looks like. Feels like he should be the guy getting targeted out of the backfield, but I'll take the over on Ridley's targets. Yeah, Mason, I was looking at him, man. 8.5 feels quite light in a game that we think could be a potential high-scoring affair. James Cook, man, thing is juiced, baby. You see it, Mitch?
No.
James Cook, average odds -130, -131 for James Cook, over 2.5. Yeah, receptions 2.5. I'm seeing it. Bovada 130, DK -130, Caesars 135. Penn's got
I don't mind
it,
it, man.
at,
I mean,
132.
Listen, Washington has some very active linebackers, and if they are going to be sending them left and right, Cook's going to have a chance to, catch one as like a safety valve out of backfield. You've seen Josh Allen use him this year. I'm looking at the target volume, 6 in week 1, and he had 4 in week 2. So clearly going to be, not necessarily a focal point, but maybe like a tertiary target. He's kind of right in line with what, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid have been so far.
Yeah, 4 in the first 2 games, 4 receptions in both games, 2.5, and it's a little juice to the over. I don't mind that at all.
No, not at all.
What do y'all think about Josh Allen over 1.5? I mean, if you've followed Mitch at all this week, I think he's talked about Josh Allen's touchdowns. Mitch, is that you pumping up Josh Allen's touchdowns every time I open up Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a raging Bills fan. I mean, you got to take what I say with a grain of salt. But I will say, I'm a little nervous about it now. I really am. I've seen the money come heavily in on the under across many books. The lines have dropped like crazy. Earlier this weekend when I posted, I think the best line I found was like a -125 when I posted that. Did a little TikTok video and everything. I was feeling good about it. And then I came back and I checked it last night. Looks like that weather is just not going to be friendly out there today. And I think that's going to potentially impact a few of these games and the passing volume. I already had posted something for Zach Wilson. We got ahead of the weather news that had come out, and we took under 29.5 pass attempts. Well, that bumped down to 28.5 soon as, all the weather reports are saying that game's going to get, swamped with rain. And same with the Bills game. Same thing has kind of come out saying this could be a wet one. And it makes me a little nervous, I will be honest. But, if there's anybody that can still throw 2 touchdowns in the rain, it's going to be Josh Allen, the best quarterback in history.
Well, let's round it out with an absolutely disgusting game with bad weather and maybe some potential for some unders then. If that's the case, I'm looking right now. What do you think about Mac Jones? You got Mac Jones and Zach Wilson in this one. You said Zach Wilson's already been opened up at 29.5, and you see that already. I mean, it's already, heavy juice to the under at 29.5. You said it's already moved to 27.5 on Prize Picks. So when you're thinking about Mac Jones, the other quarterback, not only does Mac Jones have to go up against inclement weather conditions, but this is still a very, very good defense. I know they didn't play well versus Dallas, but this is still one of the better defenses in the NFL. Would you want to make a little correlated play with Mac Jones, some unders either on his passing yards, the completions, the attempts, or maybe go with a sort of a positive game correlation and maybe up the rush attempts from Ramondre Stevenson, Ezekiel Elliott? I saw Dalvin Cook. There was some value. Let me see a Dalvin Cook, and I know it sounds nasty, but it was over 26.5 rushing yards for Dalvin Cook today. So if the game script, and they've moved that up to 27.5 now, but if the game script is bad weather, run the ball, not going to be a lot of passing versus 2 of the best defenses in the NFL, Is there some other value to extract from some of the other markets, such as rushing, completions, or attempts?
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting game to target. So earlier this week, I had posted over 20.5 passing completions for Mac Jones. He had hit the over in 12 of 15 games, smashed the over the last time he faced the Jets as well. I figured, I'm going to target this. I really like this number. Moved to 21.5 midway through the week. Well, then again, the weather, the weather report came out and everyone's starting to fade that game a little bit. So it moved back down to 20.5. Never something I want to see on a line. So I'm actually a little nervous for any overs in that game. Any of my members watching, don't take that line that I posted earlier this week, even though it moved back to 20.5. I just think it's one of those fades. I think the play now is to do what Ray is saying. It's to find maybe the secondary plays. Maybe if you're like, now I can't figure out what to do with the passing, look at Ramondre Stevenson. Look at the rushing attempts. If this is a wet one, my guy's going to get 15, 16 carries with ease. I would imagine his rush attempt prop is probably sitting at like 13.5, 14.5 right now.
15,
and that could be a really good play.
15 on Prize Picks, man. It was heavy juice to the over at 14.5. It's at 15 on Prize Picks.
That's tough, man. They don't make it easy. No doubt about it. I don't mind it terribly. It still could be decent. Let me take a peek at these before I jump on anything.
I'm looking up one more, and it's also going to seem pretty gross. But let me look at Mac Jones's attempts. Rush attempts for Mac, they do not have it on it. They got 8.5 yards, but no attempts for Mac Jones.
Breece Hall last week was very upset it seemed, right? Did not get.
He had four rush attempts last week.
What were they thinking? Doesn't make sense to me. Do they feed him today? If so, I mean, Ramondre and Breece, 104 combined rushing yards could be interesting.
Yeah, man. Squeaky Will normally gets the grease. I just want to take a look at Mac Jones's rushing yards really quickly. Yeah, Dalvin Cook bumped this morning to 27. Mac Jones, 8.5. Yeah. Probably wouldn't touch it. It's a little bit of juice to the under on this one. All right, Mitch. Anything else? Let's look in the chat real quick, see if anybody else has any good nuggets for us before Roshan breaks out week 3 on primetime against the Chiefs. Playing fields dry up quickly. Zach Wilson, 29.5, still on Fliff. 29.5 still is on Fliff. I like that.
I mean, it's a great play. He's been on the first 2 games here. I know he came in, 4 snaps in or whatever in the first one, but the second game he played full and he still hit the under. Go back to when he was a starter last year. He was hitting the under at a high rate. They don't trust him. He doesn't look good enough. And even when he does drop back enough, he runs with it. He scrambles or he gets sacked and he doesn't even get the pass off. So I like the under. And if we're talking about weather or a divisional tough matchup, all signs point to the under for me too.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, Mitch. I don't even think you built out a full 5 or 6 on this one, but I did. I built out one. I'm going to drop it on the screen right now. I'm going to just drop it on here. Here's what I got locked in, all right? I got C.J. Stroud, more than 34.5 pass attempts. Lamar and Mark Andrews to get in the end zone on the ground or through the air. Nico over 7.5 targets. Jaylen Warren, more than 2.5 receptions. And then I took Big Bijan Robinson over 13.5 rush attempts. If this hits, I'm going to give some money to a winner. I'm going to buy somebody a lunch. I'm going to split some of this money with some people. You got to comment below if you tell the slip. No doubt about it. Your boy will get with you, and we will get you locked in. Mitch, I know you didn't put a full slip together. Any plays that you really want to highlight and just call out that you do like, that you would build into a slip?
I felt best about the ones I gave away today. I did post 2 slips. What were those?
Just quick recap.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. We'll look at so the first one was, you throw it up on the screen so people could see Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews. Somebody's got to score a touchdown. Lamar's either going to run it in or throw it to Mark Andrews. I love that play, man. Justin Herbert, again, line on the books was sitting at 1.5 for whatever reason. They have him at 2.5 here. Juice to the over at 1.5 means this should have been 2.0. So this remains a very fine value. And on top of that, Ray, I mean, we're not even talking about like the minus 225 over 1.5 or something crazy. We're only talking like minus 175, minus 180. So this is a broken line. This should be 2.0 based on everything we know about how PrizePicks structures their player props. Jaylen Warren getting more playing time today. Over 2.5 receptions was juiced to the over. And then the news came out. They're going to try to work him in a little bit more. I think this is a phenomenal play. Travis Kelce, Mr. Touchdown here for KC. They are favored at home which we know that is very crucial for both running backs and tight ends for touchdown props. He is juiced to the over -170 on multiple books. Nico Collins over 7.5 targets has soaked up 9+ in the first 2 games. We both believe in over 34.5 pass attempts for CJ Stroud. So we have the correlation there to close out the slip.
I like it. And I actually put another 5 together, adding the Herbert and the Kelsey to Jahmyr Gibbs' touchdown, James Cook's receptions, and I still have Bijan's attempts on there, but I may try to look for another play. I see a lot of people talking about J-Step. We got to look at this. Let's look at Sanchez's punts. J-Step has been absolutely crushing it inside the Dubclub. I mean, this dude is pissing fire right now.
Yeah.
That's how good J-Step has been. I mean, and that could be taken in a bad way. This is in a good way. This is a good way for J-Step. I mean, he is on fire. So let's look at this punter market for J-Step. Sanchez over 4.5 punts. We got to pull this up for my man J-Step. Where's Sanchez at? Where's he at? Who does he even play for, Step? We don't even know. We don't even know who we're looking for.
I'm gonna need a team
at this point. Step, who? Maybe he's not on Prize Picks. Let's see, Sanchez. Here he is. For the Colts, man, he's right here. He's versus the Colts. I see him right there. 4.5. J-Step knows he's not. Yeah,
okay.
Pissing fire in a good way. There you go. J-Step says Sanchez 4.5. Let's see if we could find something on this one real quick. Some. What are we talking about, Mitch? How's it looking? Let's go Indy, Baltimore.
I legitimately have never looked at a punting market.
Listen, I will say this: the punting market has been quite well this year. It has been pretty damn good. I'll say that. I've been dabbling in some punting props early this season, Mitch, and they're pretty. It's pretty good, man. Because if you can nail the game script, I mean, those punts are as good as gold. But yeah, I mean, it's. I'm trusting J-Step on this one. And here's his rationale. Here's a total. The total points are in the books at 16.5. No way they don't put punt 5 times if they're only going to score 17 points. I mean, there it is. There's the theory right there. I mean, the total is 17.5 or 16.5 for them. And if you're not going to get to 17 points, there's a good chance you're punting the shit out of the ball.
What an interesting take. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Well, let's trust the man who's literally, as we said, pissing fire right now, J-Step. I will ride with Step on this one. I will take whatever his name is, Sanchez. I don't want to mispronounce it. I hate mispronouncing people's names. I don't want to say it wrong. So I'll lock that in. There it is right there. And there's the theory behind that one. So, Mitch, anything you want to say to people before we get out of here? And I just want to say thank you, Mitch, for struggling through this episode. I know you're still not even close to 100%. So everybody out there, show Mitch some love. Hit a thumbs up button, like this video, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to his channel. Link is in the description. Most importantly, scan that QR code. Use the promo code BFAST to get $10 off. Our Dubclub, Mitch, myself, JRich, J-Step, so many talented people in there providing information 24/7, 365. We will be back. I think you and JRich may do something for Monday Night Football. I will not be here on Wednesday, but you and JRich will continue the show. We'll be back bright and early Wednesday morning for more breakfast and bets. If you tail out there, give Prize Picks hell, and if we fail, do not bail. We'll be back next week with more picks. Good luck. Enjoy the games today. We're out.